Hello and welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome! Today we're going to explore what is the most out of touch thing you ever heard and how did you respond to it. Now if you recognize these stories, it's because originally I did it for a short, but I had way too many stories for just a 60-second short. So I decided to make this video so I can share the rest of the stories with you. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. What is the most out of touch thing you've ever heard and how did you respond to it? Well, during a break room discussion on how one of my coworkers was having to go on food stamps because the job didn't pay enough, the new CEO, who for the first bracket and last bracket time decided to have lunch in the break room and dropped this gem. Yeah, I know what you mean. We had to let go of our second nanny. Could you imagine being in that situation, just eating lunch and having that gem drop? Maybe he's trying to relate, but it shows how vastly different his life is compared to a normal person. They're working for food stamps and this guy's letting go of a second nanny. It's a total lack of self-awareness. My boss's wife is the child of a millionaire who married and, quote, heir to the throne, end quote, of a multi-million-dollar a year organization where I was working for $10 an hour. Her, quote, you dash, where are you planning to take your honeymoon when you get married? End quote. Me, quote, I don't know, a week on the beach or maybe a quiet cabin in the mountains? Her, quote, no one will ever marry you if you refuse to take them to Hawaii for a honeymoon, end quote. There was major flooding in Croatia and Bosnia and many poor villages were affected. Particularly affected village was called Gunja. Croatian president paid a visit to locals there, and there's footage of him talking to a local person who told him how they lost everything and how bad the flooding was. He replied, quote, I know how bad you feel. I had a broken pipe in our apartment once, end quote. There's nothing more out of touch than a corrupt politician. This guy reminds me of someone. A woman tried to tell me that farms were unethical and we don't need farms or farmers anymore because everyone can just go to the store and get their food. I just had to walk away.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
That's infuriating. Where did this woman think these stores get their food from? I live in a rural area and I'll tell you that farmers are needed more than ever. Farmers are absolutely vital to our survival on this planet. They work damn hard and I have nothing but respect for them. My parents' bracket, boomers bracket, were very confused for a long time to why us kids were having trouble finding a place to rent/buy. Then last year they helped my sister look at a house and reality gave them a nice smack in the face. They were absolutely shocked at the price. I just smiled and nodded. So this story reminded me of another incident that I had read on a community board. So the topic was about people speeding, and one of the Karens there just said, and I quote, that if people want to speed they can just go buy land and build themselves a racetrack. Go buy land and build themselves a racetrack. With the cost of living crisis, the housing crisis, the rent situation, and this woman thinks that we can just go buy land and just build a racetrack, like someone picking up a cart of groceries, even when that's even pretty much impossible these days. But it emphasizes how out of touch people are. I had to get rid of Netflix. It wasn't performing as well as other streaming platforms in my portfolio, and I wanted to free up the $1.2 million to invest in a small condo for my dog. Bet you thought it was a subscription service, right? Didn't ya? Didn't ya? Well, that's it for this one. Stay toasty!
Am I so out of touch?
Nice fight. You got big cojones, amigo. Yes, you're all yes.
Nice ass, baby.